Welcome Trinidad and Tobago to our News 4 report, a product of the Government Information Services Limited and the Ministry of Communications. I'm Joseph Lopez. Let's take a look at the headlines. TNT's Minister of Communications recognized the 24th International World Press Freedom Day with the theme, Media Freedom for a Better Future. The Youth Training and Employment Partnership Program introduces a new online portal to assist young persons gain employment. And some 12,000 citizens to benefit from Utilities Assistance Program, courtesy the Ministry of Public Utilities. Welcome and thank you for joining us. Trinidad and Tobago joins democracies across the globe to commemorate International Freedom Press Day on May 3rd. It was first proclaimed as a day worthy of recognition by the General Assembly of the United Nations in December 1993. 24 years later, its significance has grown globally, seemingly in tandem with the media's universal growth and expansion. In commemoration of World Press Freedom Day 2014, Minister of Communications Senator Vasant Bharath is urging journalists to continue to practice good ethics through the objective of credible and accurate reporting. This year's theme is Media Freedom for a Better Future, shaping post-2015 development agenda.
The Media Freedom for a Better Future, shaping the post-2015 development agenda is basically what the World Press Freedom Day celebrated on the 3rd of May, Saturday, 3rd of May, is all about. And essentially, that particular day, this day, serves to inform the international community the freedom of the press.
He says that the commemoration of this event has assumed widespread significance in Trinidad and Tobago in recent time.
It also serves to encourage and develop initiatives across the world as far as press freedom is concerned. But importantly, serves to remind us in Trinidad and Tobago how fortunate we are that the press and the media has unbridled freedom, and that the government of Trinidad and Tobago wishes to take this opportunity, as does the Ministry of Communications, to take this opportunity to applaud the work of our media personnel in Trinidad and Tobago and to continue to urge them to continue to practice good ethics through the provision of objective, credible, and accurate reporting to the citizens of Trinidad and Tobago.
On the occasion of World Press Freedom Day 2014, the minister is hopeful that there would be a continued desire by journalists to do their part in offering a greater sense of professionalism and responsibility, for instance, by verifying and establishing the facts before publishing a story. This, he stresses, must not be construed as a surrender of any rights privileged by the state or the removal of any rights duly constituted for the ordinary citizen.
I believe that journalism serves to create a freedom and a freedom of expression that certainly in Trinidad and Tobago and many countries across the world are fundamental human rights. And it is only if you have freedom of press, then you can have freedom of expression. And certainly when you have freedom of expression, you can really truly have a democracy. And only when you have a true democracy could you have prosperity for all, which is what the government of Trinidad and Tobago is attempting to ensure.
The government has been able to move swiftly to amend the legislation with the passage of the Libel and Defamation Amendment Bill 2014. Now, this bill sought to revoke Section 9 of the existing Act, which stated that any person who maliciously published any defamatory libel upon conviction was liable to pay a fine and face imprisonment up to 1 year. Now, this section of the Act remained in force on the country's statute books for 116 years. On to other news. The Youth Training and Employment Partnership Program, YTEP, has taken steps to bridge the gap between trainee graduates and employers, thanks to a new online portal. Young persons who would be able to market themselves for job market with a greater chance of gaining employment.
The Youth Training and Employment Partnership Program has signed a significant Memorandum of Understanding with the Chaguanas Chamber of Commerce. This has seen the launch of YTEP's e-employment services, which would bring YTEP's graduates closer to employers. The launch took place at YTEP's head office in Chaguanas on Wednesday. According to the chairman of YTEP's board of directors, a window of opportunity has been created for trainees and their continued growth and development.
With a target audience now of persons between the ages of 15 and 60 years, citizens would now have the opportunity to access job vacancies by the touch of a button. Not only would our graduates have this online facility at their disposal, but on the other end, employers will have the ability to upload their vacancies with an opportunity to dip into the pool of skilled and qualified YTEPians. What it means, employers, people from the chamber, is that you can upload your vacancies on our system. Our students will upload their resume. You can choose persons and call them and interview them. It's really where a market situation where students who are looking for jobs, trainees who are looking for jobs, can meet you who have vacancies.
The president of the Chaguanas Chamber of Commerce shared similar sentiments, stating that he too saw the need for such an initiative.
This website being launched this morning was an idea that I had for a very long time also, but I'm so happy that Minister Karim took it way before. It's operating like a Craigslist. Us as the Chaguanas Chamber was going to do it at a smaller level, which is within our Chaguanas region. So we were going to actually ask the different entities, YTEP, CERBOL, NESC, for their graduate resume so that we can compile a database for ourselves. This will be for our members. But we have actually seen it taken into a wider stage, a national level, which is excellent, which will help bridge the gap between employer and employee.
During the feature address, Senator the Honorable Fazal Karim took the opportunity to address the concerns of several students regarding the GATE program and revisions to the GPA scheme of a locally based university.
Recently, I saw in a Sunday newspaper that there were concerns expressed about the GATE program, the Government Assistance for Tuition Expenses, at one of our institutions in Trinidad and Tobago. I want to make it abundantly clear that no student will be disenfranchised because of any proposed ranking, rating, or GPA average. All our students in Trinidad and Tobago will have access to the government assistance for tuition expenses.
The Honourable Minister went on to state that the nation's students are in a better position now with access to a wider variety of GATE-approved courses.
This is the first time in the history of Trinidad and Tobago that we have expanded the GATE program, not only for academic studies, but for technical and vocational education and training. You cannot build a society only on academia.
Minister Karim noted that the e-employment service would come at no cost to the trainees and would assist in lowering the unemployment rate and the graduate glut. Nikolai Edwards, News 4.
We'll take a break. More news when we return. Stay with us. Welcome back. The establishment of the Utilities Assistance Program has assisted some over 12,000 needy citizens. Public Utilities Minister Nizam Baksh made the revolution during an information sharing session on the UAP held at Movitown, Port of Spain.
Since its inception, the Utilities Assistance Program has been a source of help to many in need of basic water and electricity supply. However, while the program falls under the Ministry of Public Utilities, it also works in tandem with the Ministry of People and Social Development, making sure all stakeholders in the program understand how it works to the benefit of citizens was the aim of the recently held sensitization seminar. Minister of Public Utilities Nizam Baksh says the program is one that not only seeks to improve the standard of living, but ensure people are empowered.
We begin to see the extent to which the UAP can change people's lives for the better. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is why we have worked to expand the categories of the beneficiaries to this program and the services offered by the UAP. We firmly believe that it behoves every society to provide social intervention measures to cater to those who, for whatever reason, may be in a less fortunate position than the majority.
Under the program, senior citizens as well as persons living below the poverty line are given the chance to be recipients of a subsidy in their water and electricity bills. Senior People's Interface Officer Tiwana Lynch explained the bill assistance components of the UAP.
The TNTech subsidy is an annual one of $870 or $145 per bill. The UAP assistance also requires documents, and these applicants must be in possession of a valid identification, a copy of land tax receipt, or certificate of comfort, as well as a land tax certificate of assessment and their WASA or TNTech bills. They must also be beneficiaries of social assistance programs.
Persons living in rural areas can also become beneficiaries of a solar panel installation program under the UAP.
The solar panel assistance is another aspect of our program. And with this assistance, it is offered to low-income persons through the provision of a solar panel system, which will provide electricity to supply households in remote areas. These are areas which are off the TNTech grid. There's a maximum cost of $25,000. Those who benefit from this aspect are those with a monthly income of $6,000, no more, as well as households which cannot access the electricity grid.
However, one of the needs also found in providing this kind of support through the UAP is the alleviation of diseases. Project Officer at the Ministry, Paul Richards, explained how the need to ensure pipe-borne water is provided can assist in eradicating some diseases.
Now, we would meet special circumstances when we go there at the individual's home or even the community centers, where persons' sole dependence is on, in terms of storage, is in the case of buckets, barrels. And as we would know in these modern times, that presents a risk, a health risk, where these type of storage can be used by the mosquitoes who deposit larvae, and we try to prevent the spread of dengue by trying to alleviate that problem by providing the assistance with the water tank. As I said before, in terms of the size of the water tank, if there's one, we try to ensure that the size of the water tank present in the household, if there's one, is adequate to fulfill the needs of the household. So we look at that needs assessment in terms of the storage.
The session saw the answering of a number of questions pertaining the regulation of the program, as well as the expansion and improvements to the UAP to include additional equipment such as water pumps to persons in need of getting a supply of water.
We will capture that information and we will share it with the Ministry of Water Resources, whose responsibility WASA comes under, in terms of the level of water supply that is in the area, in terms of where the water is reaching. So WASA can capture that information and be able to see the need for a water tank to take the water from where it's reaching actually to further up, let's say in a hilly area, to get to the home.
Under the UAP, some 12,300 persons have accessed water and electricity from the program since 2010. Kimberam Kalawan, News 4.
The illumination of recreational spaces is very important to Trinidad and Tobago Electricity Commission, since these projects have positive, visible and profound results to the communities in which they are executed in. This from Chairman of TNTech, Sushila Ramkisoon Mark, at the latest unveiling of the illumination projects completed by the State Utility Company. Those two projects are the Lothians Recreation Ground in Princess Town and the Kumar Village Recreation Ground in Williamsville.
The provision of lighting, as is outfitted in your ground by the installation of two 17-meter and two 12-meter poles, 20 1500-watt luminaires, underground voltage cables, a single-phase electrical panel arrangement and control, as well as an automatic on-off switching system, opens up windows of opportunity for surrounding neighborhoods and communities. The most obvious benefit is the increase of time in which the facility can be effectively utilized. With this increase, residents are no longer restricted to the hours of daylight to engage in sporting, exercise, and other recreational activity.
Ms. Ramkasoon Mark says security is another plus that the illumination upgrade of this recreation ground brings to the table. Meanwhile, delivering the feature address, the Honorable Nizam Baksh, Minister of Public Utilities, noted that though nationally the illumination of grounds may not be viewed as significant, he disagrees in the sense that this simple exercise is a means of keeping youths focused on more positive activities as well as contribute to healthy living.
The lighting of recreation grounds like this one might not seem like such an important event, but green open spaces and the opportunities that they present for relaxation, physical exercise and social activities are vital to the health and well-being of individuals, families and the communities as a whole. So when we go out, we work in partnership with other ministries and other ministers as well to ensure that we deliver a holistic program to all our communities so that the lighting up of these grounds really present us with two opportunities. One, to make sure that everybody in these communities live a healthy life. You know, you come out here and you walk, you jog, and you keep fit and this kind of thing. But what it also does is that we try to keep the crime rate down in communities and so. But when we engage the young people and they come out here and exercise and so, we burn out their energy and keep them occupied in very beneficial activities.
Minister Baksh says the illumination is also a sign of development.
In fact, with the proper facilities and strategic continuous use by residents, they can become drivers of development within communities. We at the Ministry of Public Utilities understand this, and so for fiscal 2014, we have allocated $12 million to the lighting of recreation grounds in communities all over Trinidad and Tobago. Our drive to illuminate recreation grounds in every community is based on the government of Trinidad and Tobago's belief that no community must be left behind as we continue to develop as a nation.
Felicia Wilson-Moore, News 4.
Sports news is next. Stay with us. Welcome back to some sport news now. The Hazley Crawford Stadium is abuzz with athletics action this Friday evening as the Trinidad and Tobago International Twilight Games take place. The games will see more than 100 athletes grace the stadium's track and field in 16 major events. Here's more from Gregory McBurney.
Olympic gold medalist Keyshawn Walcott will host 30 foreign-based elite athletes in Friday evening's International Twilight Games. The competition sees almost 80 of this country's best athletes compete alongside 30 foreign athletes in 16 track and field events. Some of the athletes include 2012 110-meter hurdles world junior champion Yord Nofari from Cuba, Dutch 400-meter runner Lee Marvin, Zimbabwe national record holder and 200-meter sprinter Gabriel Mvumwe, and U.S. 100-meter sprinter Tawana Meadows. Event organizer Sean Roach gives an idea of what persons attending can expect to see.
There's going to be a first and high school 4x1 event, boys and girls, which will be followed by 800 meters. We're going to have the 400 meters, 200, the 100, and in the field events, we're going to have the women's shot put, the male shot put, and of course our male javelin. It's going to be a short and compact meet. It will not last more than 3 hours. Last year, for those who were here, we had some entertainment, and we will continue in that light. It's going to be a very exciting and vibrant meet. It's not going to be a meet where you just sit down and see some racers. You're going to see a couple of our entertainers jumping on the track, in little segments, hyping up the crowd. And it's going to be something very exciting and very interesting to watch.
National sprinter and Olympic medalist Richard Thompson says persons can expect a lot from his performance this evening, even hinting at a sub-10 race, as he says he is improving in form and racing in front of his home crowd allows him to produce some of his best times.
I've run a couple of races so far for the year, 3 200s. I wanted to start my season building a solid strength base. I was also able to do a 100-meter 2 weeks ago, where I ran 10.16. Win legal time, and it's not a bad start for me because if you look at my 2013 season, The best time I was able to run all year was 10.14. So I'm already where I was last year in my first race this year in the 100. So I expect to make a little improvement each time, and hopefully we'll be back under 10 seconds this year again.
National shot putter and reigning CAC Games champion Cleopatra Borrell says, coming out of a recent training camp in Cuba, the athletes are fully prepared for the meet and have high expectations of themselves.
I've never felt this good in my life, honestly. I feel very strong technically. I feel strong physically, mentally, emotionally, like all of it. It's kind of coming together for me right now. I'm really thankful and happy, and I just want to keep going in that direction, and I believe that distances and performances come once those things come together. Coming off of the training camp in Cuba, which is a very technical event-oriented nation, we really feel prepared and ready to go, so I'm really excited about this weekend.
Thompson, meanwhile, says the International Invitational Meet is integral to the development of sport and says Jamaica is a good example of what Trinidad and Tobago can look forward to.
When you look at Jamaica a couple of years ago, before there was the rise of Usain Bolt and Shelly Ann Fraser and these sort of people, Jamaica started doing what Sean Roach is doing right now. You know, the meet started off very small, and each year it grew, it got bigger and bigger, to the point where you have the very best people in the world coming to compete in Jamaica. So, you know, this is a start for us, and hopefully it just, you know, continues to promote track and field in Trinidad and Tobago, and, you know, we continue to have meets like this to propel track and field to the highest heights.
These sentiments are echoed by Olympic gold medalist Keyshawn Walcott. However, Walcott says his only hope is to eventually see a greater number of younger athletes participating in the meet, as the young athletes are the future of track and field in Trinidad and Tobago. Gregory McBurney, News 4 Sports.
We'll take a break. You're with News 4. Welcome back. As we wrap up this edition of our News 4 report, we want to leave you with some photos of today's proceedings of the late Arthur Napoleon Rayburn Robinson lying in state at the Tobago House of Assembly. Today marked day 4 of a 5-day state funeral where he will be eventually buried at the Scarborough Methodist Cemetery. On Saturday, his final rites would be observed following a full-length service at the Dwight York Stadium, Tobago. Mr. Robinson passed away on April 9, 2014 at the age of 87 after ailing for some time. He was the third president of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago and was also the only public figure to serve as both Prime Minister and President of the Twin Island Republic. Remember, you can view a repeat of our newscast weekdays at 6 a.m. and feel free to visit our Facebook page at www.facebook.com/OurTV4. I am Joseph Lopez, and on behalf of our entire crew, thank you for watching.